The jury has reached a unanimous verdict in the case of Daniel Penny. He's been found not guilty.
Whoa! Not guilty. Daniel Penny, not guilty. And yeah, no shit. We all saw the video. We all heard the testimony. Of course he wasn't guilty. But the fact that this trial went forward, the fact that this case was even brought, that's a miscarriage of justice all in itself. Like, that's not justice. This was a selective prosecution because he's a white guy. This was almost like Rittenhouse all over again. It's kind of what it was, where Kyle Rittenhouse was the ability to defend yourself from leftist assholes. That was on trial. This is, are you allowed to defend others from leftist assholes? And so we have not guilty. So a Manhattan jury has cleared Daniel Penny of criminal wrongdoing in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely on a crowded subway. A caught on video killing. Wasn't really a killing. I mean, yes, Jordan Neely did die, but he died after the fact. Daniel Penny's chokehold on him had already long since been removed. In fact, Jordan Neely died in hands of first responders. Police didn't even want to offer real first aid because they're like, oh, that's a dirty drug user. We're not gonna, we don't want to put our mouths on that because, I mean, we're gonna get herpes at the minimum. A caught on video killing that sparked fierce debate over the city's mental health care system and crime underground. The panelists acquitted Penny of criminally negligent homicide, which could have put him behind bars for up to 4 years in Neely's chokehold death aboard a crowded uptown F train in May 2023. Manslaughter, the top charge against Penny, was tossed on Friday after jurors twice said they couldn't reach a unanimous verdict. So here's the thing about that. It was kind of a big kerfluffle on Friday. So there's the two charges. You had the manslaughter, that's the big one, and then you had the lesser and included criminal negligence of homicide, right? And so because it's a lesser and included, what happens is the jury deliberates and they go, well, this doesn't fit. This is too much. Manslaughter it's too high. It doesn't fit. We do agree with this lesser one. And then they would submit that. But since they were hung twice, that means they were hung on both of the charges, which meant that's it. They're done. It's a mistrial. Well, they weren't going to bring this case back if it had a mistrial. The political atmosphere isn't right for that. So, what they did is something that hasn't been done before, something that opened up a massive appeal argument. What they did was they decided to dismiss the manslaughter charge. And normally what would happen is that would take out the lesser and included because it's included. You take out the one, right? It's not a separate charge. It's the lesser and included. And they split the charges and you're not allowed to do that. But they really fucking wanted this conviction. They wanted it so bad that they did illegal shit. And it actually goes against the jury instructions in the first place. But they went for it. And luckily, the jury, hopefully the jury was like, yeah, you know what? If I'm ever on a subway, maybe, just maybe somebody will save me if I'm in a lot of trouble. But no, who's going to save you now? I mean, if somebody's on a subway and they see some danger happening, they're going to go, oh, well, you know what I could do? I could save these people and then go through jail and courts and the possible conviction and all that stuff and then be found not guilty. No, they're just not going to do it because at the very least, the process is the punishment. So jurors sided with Penny's defense attorneys who argued that the Marine veteran was justified in rushing to protect his fellow subway strap hangers when he subdued the erratic homeless man. The lawyers had also questioned whether there was sufficient evidence that the chokehold caused Neely's death. Well, yeah, because was he on drugs? Was he doing something else? Like, I mean, these are the questions. Was it because the police didn't render first aid? There's all manners of reasonable doubt at the minimum. Who do you want on the next train ride with you? One of his lawyers, Stephen Reiser, said in his closing statement to the Manhattan Supreme Court. The guy with the earbuds, minding his own business, who you know would be there for you if something happened, or perhaps you just hope that someone like Jordan Neely does not enter that train when you're all alone in a crowd of others frozen with fear. The acquittal comes after jurors heard from more than 40 witnesses, including passengers who described Neely's terrifying outburst on the train before Penny approached him from behind and took him down at the Broadway Lafayette station. Yeah, it was all done very professionally. Like you watch the video of it, and it's all very professional. It's all kind of like business like. No one was meant to get hurt. People were just meant to get off the train safely, be safe, have police come, and then take this crazy homeless man away, please. One strap hanger, and it's weird that they're called strap hangers, these fucking riders. Like, what a weird name for them. Anyways, she testified she was scared shitless hearing Neely rant about being willing to die and going to jail. She later thanked Penny for stepping in to restrain Neely, who also raged that someone is going to die today. Like, maybe he had a crystal ball and he misread it, and it was actually, "You're going to die today." Who knows? Another woman on the train told jurors that she feared for her life after hearing Neely's satanic rants. And a mother who was taking her 5-year-old son. Now, one of my kids is 5. I mean, I gotta tell you, that would be terrifying if someone's like, "Someone's gonna die today," and they're around my 5-year-old. Are you kidding me? Anyway, she was taking her son to a doctor's appointment, and she testified that she was so scared of a belligerent and unhinged Neely that she barricaded her son behind his stroller. Like, so afraid, she had to put a stroller in between, like an object in between. No witnesses testified that Neely put his hands on anyone or lunged at anyone specific before Penny put him in the chokehold. Evidence during the month-long trial also revealed that Neely was not carrying a weapon at the time, with cops only finding a muffin in his pocket. Now, we know that there was no weapon because cops only found a muffin in his pocket, but by then he was dead or dying. Nobody knew if there was a knife in his pocket or a gun in his pocket or fucking brass knuckles. Nobody knew that at the time. And do you really need to wait to find out, oh, this person then now has a weapon, when you don't? You don't have to. If they're doing crazy shit, you can assume this person has a weapon and I need to maybe do something. The polarizing case kicked off fierce conversation about mentally ill man who was failed by the city's broken system. A sentiment even Mayor Eric Adams expressed, saying Penny did what we should have done as a city by protecting others that day. Yeah, the city's a disaster. I mean, what do you expect? You're a sanctuary city. You're one of the most populous cities in America, and now you're a sanctuary. So you have all the riffraff and garbage from all the other countries who are probably fucking crazy and they're criminals. But they're also, many of them are probably crazy, and they're coming to your sanctuary city, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, our healthcare system for the mentally ill, it will support this." No, it won't. You can't even support your own people. So prosecutors argued that Penny went too far, and that his actions turned criminal when he kept Neely in the hold after nearly all the frightened passengers had fled the train. So what they're saying is, hey, listen, there were still passengers on the train. You should have let this guy up so he could then stab you and the passengers remaining on the train. The prosecution was fucked because the main prosecutor, she would let guys go for doing really, really bad crimes, but that's okay because they were of melanated origin. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're just a poor little black fella. We need equity in the justice system." "Oh, but Daniel Penny, you're a white fella. You're going to jail." What's so tragic about this case is that even though the defendant started out trying to do the right thing as the chokehold progressed, the defendant knew that Jordan Neely was in great distress and dying, and he needlessly continued. Dr. Cynthia Harris, who ruled that Neely's death was a homicide caused by Penny's chokehold, pointed out for jurors the exact moment when Neely passed out on the subway's car floor, with Penny still wrapping his arms around his neck. The city medical examiner, who made her ruling before his toxicology report came back, testified, and that's a thing, right? She's like, nope, it's the chokehold. I saw the video. I know it's the chokehold. Well, what if he was on drugs? No, it doesn't matter if he's on drugs. It doesn't matter if this is George Floyd and it's another OD. It doesn't matter. I saw the chokehold and I hear the rioters. You know what I mean? Like you can't have these woke people in these positions. Anyway, she testified that she was so confident after watching the video of the encounter that she'd stand by her decision, even if it later turned out that Neely had enough drugs in his body to put down an elephant. What? What? She was so confident by the video that even if she was proven conclusively wrong, she'd be like, no, I'm standing by what I saw on the video. I mean, these are the morons that are like, trust the science, trust the science. This this mask totally works. The plexiglass and the cashier, it totally works. You can cut the tits and the dicks off children and they can totally switch genders. Trust the science. Except if a toxicology report comes back that says actually it's this, she'd be like, no, not that science. Jurors asked for a readback of that specific portion of Harris' testimony during deliberations. Trial evidence revealed that Neely had the synthetic marijuana drug K2 in his system. I don't know anything about marijuana. You would think I would, being in Canada and it's all around me all the time, it being legal and such. Like, it's in everything. It's weird. So I don't know what K2 is. Anyway, it was in his system at the time of the confrontation. Jurors also heard that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, telling doctors in 2021 that he heard the devil's voice. Now, those with schizophrenia are particularly dangerous because they often listen to the voice. And in a quick little snippet, did you know that those people who are deaf that have schizophrenia, they don't hear voices? They see sign language. The voices in their head are sign language. It's actually very fascinating. Penny's mother, sister, friends, and fellow Marines took the stand to vouch for his character. The defense's medical expert, forensic pathologist Satish Chandru, claimed that Neely died not from Penny's chokehold, but by the combined effects of a sickle cell crisis. Oh, did he have sickle cell anemia? Oh my God, so he can't get enough oxygen in his blood in the first place. The schizophrenia, and the struggle and restraint, and the synthetic marijuana. They are saying this is a perfect storm of events. They've come together to create this situation. Penny declined to take the stand, which is usually the smart thing to do. Usually, if you're the bad guy, the guy on trial, rather, um, taking the stand is almost like a Hail Mary pass. But jurors heard him tell arriving cops on the train platform, I just pull him out before making, oh, I just put him out before making a choking gesture with his arms. Yes, he's letting the police know the situation, the state of the guy that they're there for. Hours later, at Chinatown's 5th Precinct, a relaxed Penny insisted during an interrogation that he was merely trying to de escalate the situation and then he didn't mean to hurt Neely, meaning there was no intent there. I'm not trying to kill the guy, the Marine veteran told two detectives as prosecutors watched him through a one sided mirror, like Law and Order or whatever. I'm just trying to keep him from hurting anybody else. In apparent reference to the mentally ill Neely, Penny added during his questioning that all these people are pushing people in front of the train and stuff. New York does have a problem for that. Like if you're in New York and you're on the subway, you stay the hell away from the edge of the platform. Yeah, you're waiting for your train. your train's right there and you want to get a good seat or whatever, but don't go anywhere where you can easily be pushed. I've in the last year or two or whatever, the amount of videos of people being pushed onto the fucking tracks is astonishing. The fact that people would even do that to another human being that they don't even know. It's wild. Neely's death and Penny's arrest 11 days later sparked a national political firestorm about whether Penny's actions were justified. Yes, they were. The episode also sparked outrage about how Neely fell through the cracks of the city's mental health system, failing to get the treatment he needed despite the NYPD treating him as an emotionally disturbed person in more than 24 prior encounters with him. This case is about a broken system that does not help our mentally ill or our unhoused. I mean, okay, is it wrong? Chat audience, tell me, is it wrong to want to make asylums great again? Yes, the asylums of the olden days, they started out fine, I think, and then they got pretty run down. But is there a way? Is it even possible to make an asylum? I don't know. Maybe we'll call it a different word or something. Asylum. I don't know. It reminds me of a place where you put super criminals like the Joker or something. Arkham Asylum. Um, is there a way to have a facility in which you put the people with schizophrenia, and so they can live out a reasonable, happy life, not pushing people in front of subway cars? There's got to be some way to do it because mental illness is we can't just let it loose in society. And the other headlines, the spin-off stories about this one is woke mob is no longer arbiter of right and wrong, says Republican New York City politician, council member um Anna Vernikov, Republican of Brooklyn, says it's a great day for our city and our nation. Justice has truly been served, and we all feel the tide turning now. Today, the jury decided that the woke mob is no longer the arbiter of right and wrong. I'm sure DA Alvin Bragg will be more than eager to prosecute anyone rioting in light of this verdict as swiftly and harshly as he did to Daniel Penny. Well, we all know Alvin Bragg's a fat piece of shit, and he's not going to do that because he is as woke as they come. So then we have Kyle Rittenhouse congratulates Daniel Penny on the acquittal. I mean, that makes sense, right? Justice has prevailed. New York City Councilwoman Joanna Areola. Is that what that is? Areola? Really? Boob? A nipple? Is that what we're. Really? Okay. Anyways, New York City Councilwoman Joanna Nipple celebrated the not guilty verdict in Daniel Penny's case. So she's a Republican from Queens. Justice has prevailed. So that's something. Um, Council member Robert Holden, Democrat from Queens, said it's good news for New York City that Daniel Penny has been acquitted. This outcome highlights the need to focus on real solutions like addressing untreated mental illness to prevent future tragedies like this from happening again. All right, so it's a bipartisan. House Speaker Mike Johnson looked forward to the acquittal of heroic Daniel Penny. So that's good. Here's one. DA Alvin Bragg should resign in shame after Daniel Penny's acquittal. New York Councilman Joe Borelli says. New York City Councilman Joe Borelli, Republican from Staten Island, is calling for Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg to resign following the not guilty verdict in Daniel Penny's trial. The verdict in this case underscores nothing other than the perverse sense of justice held by Alvin Bragg. Every New Yorker is fearful on the subway and had no problem understanding the context of Daniel Penny's actions. The district attorney should resign in shame. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. So that is the I guess the satellite stories or the spin-off stories about that. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Congratulations to Daniel Penny. Kudos to the jurors who, despite having what is essentially an illegal options placed before them, they still made the right call. I thought they were going to split the baby and send Penny to jail, but they made the right call. Thank heavens for that. And yeah, thanks again. I love you all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.